Welcome grade 8s. Now we're going to be talking about geometry of straight lines. We're going to start off by talking about supplementary, complementary, vertically opposite, straight and right angles. And this is going to really set us up nicely for what's to come in the rest of the section. Let's get started straight away. This is all an introduction to lines. So I have two lines. These two lines go on infinitely. I haven't drawn them infinitely. I just simply put two arrows on the line to show that this goes on infinitely. Where the lines meet, we call a vertex. And we draw a big dot, or not big dot, a dot on this vertex. A plural vertex is vertices. We can also label points on the line. So we're going to label A, B, and C. You see we've added a point A and C. We can call this angle ABC. So how we read this angle ABC, we can see that that over there means angle. That is also looks like your bigger than or less than sign. And then we have A, so we start at A, which means we start at A. We go to B, and then we go to C. So the angle is between A, B, and C. We're talking about this angle here. Right? We can add another line with another point. We add that line there. We call this point D. We can add the angles. So there's two angles on either side. So that's angle A, B, D. So what will that be? That'll be there. And then we have angle DBC. DBC. That'll be over there. I'm going to draw this there. Because these angles aren't equal, we're going to put two lines to show that that's a different angle to that. And for this one here, we could put three lines. This is just to show that it's a different angle. As you can see, angle ABC, ABD plus angle BDC, or DBC, will equal angle ABC. That makes sense. Quite simple. Let's move on. You get various kinds of angles. We're going to start off with an acute angle. That is where the angle between the lines is less than 90 degrees. Then you get a right angle, and this is exactly 90 degrees. And we're going to denote this by putting a square box here. And then you get an obtuse angle, where the angle is greater than 90 degrees, but it must be less than 180 degrees. And then a straight line where it is exactly 180 degrees. And then we get a reflex angle, the last one, which is greater than 180 degrees. Okay, this we're going to look at now just to deal with all of these angles separately. And right now we're just talking about the straight and right angles. So you know that a right angle is 90 degrees exactly, and a straight angle is 180 degrees. That also is exactly a straight line. So don't get too confused about that. Okay, let's now look at supplementary angles. These are two angles where the sum, whose measure is 180 degrees. So we have a line, a straight line. We have angle 1 and angle 2. We can quite easily see that 1 plus 2 is equal to 180 degrees. So 1 and 2 are supplementary angles. What about this shape? We have 1, we have 2. Now we add some more spokes. We have 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, we can see that this here is a straight line. We can see that this here is a straight line. So we can see that 1 and 6 are supplementary angles. Ooh, what are supplementary angles here? Well, we could add, for example, we could add an 8 over here and we could add a 7 over here. And 7 could be this angle over here, right? So this is 7. 2 is over here. And 3 is this one here. So we could say that 1 and 7 are supplementary angles. And what about 8? Where could 8 be a supplementary angle? What if we made this our 8 angle? Right? Then we could say that 2 and 8 are supplementary angles. Because as you can see, there's a straight line and there's an 8 and a 2. And here you can see that 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 will always equal 180 degrees. Okay, let's now look at complementary angles. Complementary angles are two angles the sum of whose measure is 90 degrees, right? So it's almost like supplementary, but now instead of 180 degrees is 90 degrees. So we have 1 and 2, and we have a square box. This is to show that it's 90 degrees. So 1 and 2 are complementary angles, right? We draw this diagram again with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We now add some right angles just to show you. So what here are supplementary angles? You can see that 4 and 5 are supplementary angles because they both add up to 90 degrees. 2, there's no supplementary angle here because it is itself 90 degrees exactly. Let's now look at vertically opposite angles. So vertically opposite are two angles whose sides form two pairs of opposite straight lines. Oh, that sounds like a mouthful. What does it mean? So we have two lines, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the vertically opposite angles are two angles whose sides form two pairs of opposite straight lines. So here we have a side of 1 and a side of 3, and they form two opposite straight lines. Let's just, before we look at vertically opposite, let's have a look at an adjacent angle. So firstly, an adjacent angle are two angles that share a common vertex and a common side, but no common interior points. Right, so if we put a dot or a vertex here, we can see that 1 and 4 both share a common vertex, yes, and they share a common side. They both have a side with this line here. So 1 and 4 are adjacent angles. So is 1 and 2. So is 2 and 3. So is 3 and 4. Those are all adjacent angles. But now a vertically opposite angles are not adjacent. So in this case here, 1 and 3 are vertically opposite. They will be the exact same. 2 and 4 are vertically opposite. And now remember that 1 will equal 3 and 2 will equal 4. I'm just going to rub this out to show you the next diagram, to show you the exact same thing that will happen here. So we have two straight lines, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, over here, 1 will equal 3 and 2 will equal 4. These mean that these are vertically opposite pairs with each other. Well done, grade 8s. That is really just a summary into what we're having next. If you battle to understand the angles, don't stress too much. We're really going to get more into the angles in the last 3 videos of this section. Well done.